Hey, thanks for checking us out. This is Sports and Other Stuff. You can find us on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We have a new episode every week. We have more than 100 in the can, so check it out. Thanks for being a part of it. Just subscribe. Thanks a million.
T-Dog, J-Boy, and me, I'm Lugs. Our pride and joy is pumping our mugs. Be careful, kids, it could get rough. We're flipping our lids on sports and other stuff.
Welcome to Sport Weasel Central. I'm Lugs.
I'm J-Boy.
And I'm T-Dog.
Yeah, that was quite a dramatic delivery there, Lugs. Thank you. This is Sports and Other Stuff. Thanks for stopping by. Hey, as Macaulay Culkin said in Home Alone, you can put that on a plate and serve it up hot. Yes, the NFL draft is over. Thank goodness we have winners, losers, the best, the worst. Well, you get the idea. Plus sports of yesteryear and some other stuff. It's Derby week, Lugs. Happy Kentucky Derby to you.
Thank you very much. Yes. Do we want to go ahead and get a little draft magic started here, what we like?
Magic it up. Go with the magic.
Okay. I think for me, the top end was the Jets. On paper now, this is all on paper because nobody's played it down in the NFL yet. But Ahmad Gardner, they picked at cornerback. That's a good pick. Garrett Wilson, receiver. That's a good pick. And I think the best pick really for them is Jermaine Johnson from Florida State at defensive end. I think they've really helped themselves out probably, in my opinion, more than any other team in the draft for what they needed and what they got. So that would be my kickoff point for what I liked about the draft there.
Yeah, just to kind of echo a little bit. That's not the one I selected, but I'm glad you said it though, because like you said, like any draft is good where you can at least get 2 starters, and there's a good chance they at least got 5. Because like you hit on Sauce Gardner, again, he's good. He feels like he's going to be a great like corner shutdown artist. Some of the guys you didn't maybe hit on, Bryce Hall, the running back from Iowa State. You have him with Carter in the backfield. They have a tandem now where they're going to be able to really run the ball because LaFleur's brother is there running their offense. So it's going to be similar to Green Bay and 49ers when probably running optimally. So, yes, this draft, and also they got the tight end out of Ohio State, who's probably going to be very good. His numbers aren't going to be wowing in terms of production, but you look at, again, one of his teammates, again, with the Jets, Wilson, and you had Olave and obviously Smith, who'll come in next year's draft. They had so many good receivers. There was no reason to throw to the tight end. But they possibly got 5 starters out of this draft. Similar, a team that's usually much maligned that I think killed this draft was the Lions. They got, I think, the best pass rusher in the draft in Aiden Hutchinson. And obviously, I get that he might not have as high a ceiling as Walker, who went above him, but he's probably going to be a good player. And then after that, they got the best wide receiver, I think, in the draft, Jameson Williams. I know he's coming off an ACL, but when he's healthy. And then again, going back to getting at least 2 starters, in which they did with those 2, Josh Paschal from Kentucky. Not only will he be an instant starter who has versatility on the line, he can play D tackle, he can play edge, but also he's been, I believe, he's a 3-time captain for UK. So, he's going to give that young team like a leader. So
I'm going to go with a team approach, and let me throw it out as a question, you guys. I thought the Ravens had a heck of a draft just overall. Worst would probably be the Chicago Bears because they had no first-round picks at all. And then I think in trouble category and didn't help themselves and their star, that would be the Green Bay Packers because they didn't draft any wide receivers early on. So what do you guys think?
Well, I'll comment on the Green Bay. They had my wasted pick with Quay Walker linebacker from Georgia. I just don't understand what that logic was. But they redeemed themselves with Devontae Wyatt and the receiver from, and I'm blanking on his name. I think it's Watson from North Dakota State.
Yep.
Christian Watson.
I think they finally got a receiver that, I don't know if he's up to Lazard's standards, but,
Wait a second.
So anyway, that Green Bay, I think they're sort of fair to middling to me.
To be fair to your all's point, a lot of it will come down to, I thought both the Georgia guys were good. But and again, not to say that it's all built off of what happened last year. Their defense wasn't the reason they didn't get further in the playoffs. Their defense played phenomenal against San Francisco. They lost because of their offense. And Christian Watson, you want to talk about putting pressure on a young player entering. Yes, it's obviously it's a big coup to have Aaron Rodgers throwing you the ball. But that being said, they not only drafted him to essentially probably be the number one guy at some point this year, they gave up 2 second-round picks to move up to the second overall pick in the second round to get him. So you want to talk about putting pressure on a young man's shoulders. That's what they have going for him. I think the draft that I liked in that I could see how it goes right and I can see how it goes wrong is the Tennessee Titans. To give up, to give up AJ Brown. I get that they didn't want to pay him, and I get maybe he had some health injuries, but I just think they were the first. They were number one overall seed in the playoffs. You kind of want to try to hit when you're hot. I know kind of legally just this draft trying to look long term, but you do worry about. And again, you all know I love Treylon Burks. He's my favorite guy to watch. But to be like, oh, you had AJ Brown like come out the box and be dominant right away. That does not happen a lot. So even if Treylon Burks is good, it might take 3 to 4 years. And by that point, Tannehill's out the door. And they did draft Malik Willis, who luckily gets to go to a place where he gets to set probably behind a quarterback who's playing for the most part fairly well in Tannehill. But still, like that's a 3rd round pick that you could have maybe helped the offense or the defense like really push it this year. Now you're just trying to open up the window long term, but are you really getting a shot at winning a title?
And plus, did you hear what Tannehill said about Willis? He's not willing to be his mentor. I'm being polite when I said it that way.
Yeah. And then just the last guy they got, again, he played well for Michigan, but Hassan Haskins, as quote unquote, the heir apparent of Derrick Henry. Look, Hassan Haskins played awesome last year. He's not a Derrick Henry. He's not I don't think he's that good an athlete. He didn't get the test, I think, because of an injury. I don't think if you kind of like look at his yards per carry, I don't think he was ever going to test exceptionally well. Like he's a solid running back who could start for like 3 to 4 years, but you're probably going to be looking to replace. He's not an heir apparent to Derrick Henry.
Yeah. I like the Giants, a couple of their picks, Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal. So with Thibodeau, they helped themselves on defense, and with Evan Neal, they really helped themselves on the offensive line. So the Zach Wilson, or not Zach Wilson, what's his name? Jones. Is it Jones? It's such a forgettable quarterback.
Oh, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is with the Giants.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking, is he still there? I'm not sure.
Yes.
Anyway, it might give him a little bit more time to chunk that ball into the ground at the 15-yard point like he was doing last year. Anyway, I think they helped themselves. Overall, I would say for this draft, the defense obviously got help with a lot of teams with these guys, more so than any draft in my recent memory. So I would only say the top 2 picks, not surprisingly, they did get put in bad spots. I mean, Trayvon Walker at Jacksonville, terrible. Hutchinson at Detroit maybe is a little better off. I mean, they'll both start, but when rookies come in and they're your starters, you got problems. But
Okay.
anyway,
Follow-up question then. Does Aaron Rodgers have the time, patience, mostly time to break in rookie wide
Christian
receivers
Watson.
at age 38?
I see. I think he's going to have to, don't you?
Well,
I mean,
yeah, that's what I mean. That's it.
I mean,
The table is
'cause
set.
The other Sammy Watkins and our guy
Alan
can't-
Lazard, Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, fellas, I believe I could cover Randall Cobb at this point.
Oh,
you know.
hold on a
So,
minute. Hold on.
I know you got to get the twang in.
I'm getting
so.
it on the record there. Spike
But,
the tape. Yeah.
uh,
Wow.
He
Lugs can
is
cover.
Aaron Rodgers, and I have been down on him for his off the field nonsense, but if the kid shows any promise at all, Watson, he will get him the ball.
All right, I have another question about quarterbacks. It was a big shocker that they went so low in the draft. So, who will start for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Mitchell J. Trubisky or Kenny Pickett? Or is that not even a concern?
I would say Trubisky will start just because of his experience, and if
Is it a battle?
Kenny Pickett can find his small hands.
Go ahead.
I just think I was just gonna say I just worry about Kenny Pickett just because I think he can turn out to be good. I'm not like, oh, Kenny Pickett's awful or anything. I think the thing I worry about with Kenny Pickett is I think if everything is positioned right around him, and I love that Daniel Jeremiah compared to this guy, and I actually like this guy too, but he reminds me of Matt Hasselbeck. And it's like, yep, that's the perfect way to say. If you have everything right, he's bordering on top 10, just on the periphery. If everything's right. If not, which again, you look at the Steelers' offensive line, and considering how bad they are, he was the third slowest quarterback in terms of his throws in the FBS. Obviously, it's a little faster in the NFL. I'm not saying he won't be able to correct it. He has some very talented wide receivers in Deontay Johnson. And obviously they drafted Pickens and they drafted Calvin Austin the third. And both those guys can be very exciting. But I just worry about him behind that. And also Matt Canada, their offensive coordinator, he had some good moments in college. And I know he played with the Ben Roethlisberger, who was dipping into the tar pit last year. But that being said, I don't know. I don't know about the coordinator. I don't know about the offensive line. And obviously you look at his tendency to hold the ball. All those things add up to, particularly going against the Ravens, going against the Bengals, who have a decent amount of talent, going against Myles Garrett and that Cleveland Browns defense. I'm just saying some people are going to eat this year on that Steelers and Kenny Pickett.
Wow. Okay.
See, I look at Pickett since he was in the Pittsburgh building and Pitt played their games there.
Just changed locker rooms. That's it. That's all he's done.
I think that the Pittsburgh folks saw something in him, or there's something that they believe in. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But again, on paper, I was shocked by Matt Corral as low as he went, because I thought he's like the prototypical big quarterback, and he can sling that ball. But people needed defense this year, and he wasn't as impressive as he should have been in his last year in college.
It might end up working out for him. Obviously you still worry about their offensive line, but they have some talented wide receivers in Carolina. They have Christian McCaffrey, and obviously, like I said, DJ Moore just got paid because he's a really good receiver. So he has that to build on. And Ben McAdoo is their new offensive coordinator. And I know he flamed out with the Giants as a head coach, but he had some good moments as a coordinator in the NFL. And it is a West Coast offense, which isn't exactly the same as what he ran at Ole Miss. But again, it was getting the ball out quick, which is what Corral is very good at, essentially acting as a point guard. So I'd assume that'll reflect their offense. And I don't think it's going to take much for him to beat Sam Darnold. So I think if we're going to bet on which guys the rookie's going to start, even though I think Pickett will start, I think there's a chance that Corral will start before him.
All right. Other highlights, losers, winners. What do you say?
I was just going to say to continue with the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think Ritter ended up in the best spot for him.
Falcons.
I think he will do okay there. And I got to say, one of the strengths